Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andy, and welcome to our first Team Kentucky update from our new Commonwealth studio. And what a way to kick it off, remembering a lot of memories. Virginia Moore, Michael Brown, all people that I know are still looking out over us, that are still with us in spirit, and would tell each and every one of us that there is a lot of work yet to be done, and our job is to do as many good things as possible and to be kind to each other. So I want to kick off today with a great update on the economic development front. Since the beginning of this administration, we have broken every economic development record in the books. We've now announced over 1,200 new location or expansion projects totaling $42 billion until today's announcements, and creating more than 63,000 new jobs. Over the last 3 weeks, we've experienced some unprecedented announcements with over $6.3 billion in new investments and over 1,000 full-time jobs from 4 iconic companies. On August 5th, I joined General Matter to celebrate a milestone in the company's plan to establish a $1.5 billion, 140-job uranium enrichment facility in McCracken County that is the largest single investment in Western Kentucky history. The next day, Apple and Corning announced plans for a $2.5 billion investment in Corning's Mercer County facility, which will produce 100% of the glass used on iPhones. Apple officials say this project will increase Corning's manufacturing and engineering workforce by 50%. Then on August 11th, I participated in a monumental announcement by Ford Motor Company, a nearly $2 billion investment that is creating the next generation of assembly line at the Louisville Assembly Plant, where they are going to manufacture one of the most affordable EV pickup trucks in the world. The project secures 2,200 jobs at a facility that was long rumored to be at the edge of closure, and ensures that those jobs are going to exist for decades to come. Finally, on August 13th, I joined an iconic Louisville and Kentucky company, GE Appliances, to highlight a $490 million investment at Appliance Park in Jefferson County that was announced originally in June. This expansion is going to create 800 full-time jobs, and it's the cornerstone of a $3 billion investment in America, where GE Appliances say they're going all in on manufacturing in our country. And we saw a project 4 years in the making come to life. Now, last week, the largest investment in our history, Blue Oval SK, officially began producing EV batteries. The production milestone follows Ford and partner SK On's 2021 announcement of $5.8 billion investment in Hardin County, expected to eventually create over 5,000 jobs. 1,450 of them are already filled. And we're not stopping there. Just this morning, we had some great new location and expansion projects approved by the Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority. So that last couple of weeks, $6.3 billion was exciting. Today, we're announcing an additional $1.3 billion in new investments that today were approved for incentives that'll create 344 new full-time jobs and help us retain 1,260 current jobs across the state. So a pretty incredible 4-week period where we could say $7.6 billion, which is more than the average for an entire year before I came into office. But the last month alone, that's $7.6 billion in new investment. Some of today's approvals include V-Simple in Jefferson County, Aegis in Shelby County, Camtech Manufacturing Solutions in Pulaski County, Carhartt in Hopkins County, Trendox in Fayette County, Sazerac in Taylor County, and Kroger in Warren County. So there'll be some separate announcements on some or most of those, but today we want to specifically talk about V-Simple Inc., a leading AI company that's sharing big news later today. Lieutenant Governor Coleman will be joining the company and local leadership in Louisville to highlight a $5.1 million investment that's going to create 194 great-paying jobs in Jefferson County. Building a better future is only possible if we create a diverse economy where every industry has the opportunity to succeed. And this, a big investment and a lot of jobs from V-Simple in the AI sector, is going to help continue to ensure that Kentuckians aren't just the workers, but the thinkers of tomorrow. I want to thank V-Simple for believing in what our great state has to offer, and we want to officially welcome them to their new Kentucky home. Companies also continue to bet on Kentucky because of our incredible workforce. That's why we're committed to workforce development. Now, nearly 2,300 Kentuckians will receive skills training thanks to support provided from the Bluegrass State Skills Corp. This program helps private sector businesses establish industry-specific training initiatives. This month's approvals included workforce training support for 360 employees at James Marine in Paducah, 201 employees at Lion Magnus East in Walton, 200 trainees at Certain Teed Gypsum in Silver Grove, 129 trainees for Carbide in Louisville, 90 employees for El Toro in Louisville, 72 workers at Flotwig Separation Technology in Independence, and 60 trainees at Log Still Distillery Management Company in New Haven. A strong, skilled workforce helps us be competitive, helps us get that next big announcement. And so this is our continued investment, doing the work week in and week out to make sure we have the very best workforce in America. Listen, we know Kentuckians are the very best people, and they work hard. We want to make sure they have the specific skills so that they can succeed, and so these companies succeed as well. And let me just say that this is and always will be an administration that recognizes that when a company is successful, they hire more people, they pay higher wages, they expand here, they bring new jobs here. We want each and every business that locates in Kentucky to be wildly successful because we believe this is a symbiotic relationship. Kentucky is open for business, and we're looking forward to continuing to announce new job after new job. Part of our economic success is due to Kentucky's commitment to speed to market. That term means getting businesses up and running faster than other states are doing it, and doing it effectively and with confidence. It can include everything from ensuring the infrastructure is already in place before we build, to the permitting, to building inspections, to incentives, to workforce development, and more. From concept to completion, our commitment is a business will get up and running faster here than any other state. We made this possible through a lot of steps, including our Build Ready, Job Ready programs, state and local agencies working together to deliver results, pre-application meetings where our environmental permitters will talk to a company about where they're locating and what they might face, making reviews a priority with regular meetings to ensure timeliness, combining permitting and ensuring the structure we have in place meets the needs of businesses. Today, I'm proud to announce we're building on this commitment by sharing another tool we've created for potential businesses looking to make this their new Kentucky home. Now, businesses of any size can access all the information needed to get started in one place, speedtomarket.ky.gov. This is way more than a website. It's a one-stop shop, and it should be the first stop when looking to start a business, expand, or relocate to Kentucky. And what we've been able to do with Speed to Market has been mainly directly working with larger companies and larger announcements. This makes sure that every small business can use it too, that of any size, anywhere in the Commonwealth, if you're looking at coming here, you can get up and running faster using the same tools we use with the very largest of companies. From financial incentives to resources by industry, guidance on tax information, licenses and permitting, insurance needs, and more, this site opens doors to put you on the right path. It also offers direct contacts to help you navigate opening requirements when needed. This concept actually came from the process that Team Kentucky developed from our high ground community work. This is where in Eastern Kentucky, after deadly flooding, we are building new communities on former coal mines above the floodplain, ensuring that no one is ever put in danger ever again. Why this program comes from that is it was incredibly complex, and it required multiple different cabinets and agencies working together, breaking down every type of silo, making sure that the bureaucracy of government didn't stop us from the most ambitious rebuilding plan that this country has ever seen. So we wanted to take that cooperation that's helped us do what many thought was improbable to impossible and unleash it so that small businesses and large businesses alike can get the advantages of what we've learned, to not feel the impact of different cabinets or groups regulating different things, but to have one positive experience with this state that get their business up and going. So we've applied this process here, and it's taking the Team Kentucky approach of working together to deliver results because we want to build on our historic economic success. You know, the great part about historic economic success is you've had historic economic success. The challenge is how you keep it going, or how you step it up one more step or two more steps, knowing that every year we can keep this movement going is a great benefit to our families for decades to come. So we want you to hear a little bit about it. We want you to feel what the experience is. So we've got a video from 3 businesses. That's New Frontier Outfitters, Eastern Light Distillery, and Electromet, all of which benefited from our current speed to market efforts.
Started very small, started in a garage, and slowly built that brand up to a worldwide brand.
Plugged into the Team Kentucky outlet of resources, help, some guidance along the way. It's helped us really grow exponentially, not just in Kentucky, but across the world.
Kentucky as a whole, the Commonwealth made it extremely easy for us to work with based on the transparency and the ease of doing business here. They truly knew shovel-ready sites. All of a sudden, we started to quickly narrow it down to the perfect site that had all the elements that were missing from some of the other sites.
To learn that Team Kentucky is going to make it even easier for businesses to come here and make things quicker and faster, I'm excited to see not just New Frontier, our business, grow, but I'm excited to see the new businesses that are going to be in Kentucky and see the economy boom because, by the way, it helps us.
That momentum that I spoke to earlier that Kentucky has, it's becoming one of the most desirable states in America to do business within.
Electromet started as an idea from a lab, and the resources here in Kentucky help us grow to where we are today very quickly. And this new initiative is going to help us even more and grow faster and deliver better solutions across the globe.
It's all about partnership and working together. Again, a successful business pays better wages, hires more Kentuckians, and remember, the biggest companies in this country all started somewhere. We want the next big one to start here. So if you're looking to make our Commonwealth your new Kentucky home, visit speedtomarket.ky.gov and we'll get you up and running for a successful future. This past weekend, we also celebrated a significant milestone in the Mountain Parkway expansion. We broke ground on the final section, a 13-mile stretch that extends from Salyersville to Prestonsburg. This is the biggest and most ambitious segment of the overall 45-mile billion-dollar expansion. It is a new road whereby the current part of the Mountain Parkway expansion will remain open during the entire construction. This is known as McGoffin to Floyd, and it includes 13 miles of all new roadway, multiple bridges, and more than 30 million cubic yards of excavation. And it's being built by Bizac, a Kentucky company that employs Eastern Kentuckians. So this important project for Eastern Kentucky, one of the first 4-lane highways through the heart of Appalachia, is being built by the residents of those very mountains. So for the first time, we can say every section of the Mountain Parkway is either complete or under construction. It means safer travel for our families, easier access to jobs, and we had the county judge of McGoffin and Floyd both talking about how they are already receiving more calls from businesses than they ever have because they can tell them that they have a 4-lane highway that can move the goods that they make anywhere in America. As I've said before, I'm not the first governor to work on this historic project, but I'm determined to be the last. The people of Kentucky, of Eastern Kentucky, have earned this. They deserve it. We are very excited for what a 4-lane Mountain Parkway is going to mean for the future. Today, I'm also excited to announce some railroad grants. Today, we're announcing another $7.5 million in grants to support 6 important railway projects across the Commonwealth. These projects will strengthen our state's infrastructure and fuel economic growth. From replacing and repairing over 30 miles of rail lines, renewing an additional 53 miles of track surface, and providing critical maintenance, these projects will help railways run smoothly and safely for years to come. In total, we've now awarded more than $24 million in state grants to Kentucky's railway infrastructure. We have a video from the Paducah and Louisville Railway to talk about the impact of this funding.
Paducah and Louisville Railway is a recipient of 3 Kentucky Shortline Infrastructure Preservation Grants for fiscal year 2026. These grants, which will require a minimum of 50% match from the railroad, will be used to renew 53 miles of track in the Mayfield and Paducah area, along with 50,000 new cross ties, and install 15,000 linear feet of new rail on P&L's main line. It'll also replace 30 turnouts on the Calvert City Industrial League. Reliable freight transportation is critical to attracting new customers to Kentucky who demand efficient, sustainable freight transportation alternatives, connecting them to the national rail system and international markets. Kentucky Shortline Infrastructure Preservation Program, which was established by the General Assembly and approved by Governor Beshear, will allow Paducah and Louisville Railway to continue to provide safe and reliable rail service, while helping drive the economic development throughout the Commonwealth, yielding good-paying jobs, enhancing tax revenue, and more business opportunities. Paducah and Louisville Railway is grateful to the legislature and the Beshear administration for recognizing the importance of rail service to Kentucky's economic growth and for supporting the K-SLIP program. Thank you.
This Sunday is Overdose Awareness Day. Across the nation, the opioid epidemic has devastated communities and families, with fentanyl especially taking a deadly toll. We've lost too many parents, children, relatives, and friends, all children of God taken from us far too soon. The good news is there is hope. And the reason there is hope is because of the work that we have done together across Kentucky. Together, we're building a new Kentucky home where we have more resources to fight addiction and our communities are safer. We're ensuring that no one walks the road to recovery alone. Because of this work, we have seen 3 straight years of decreases in overdose deaths, thank God. This last year, we saw a 30.2% decrease in 2024 compared to the previous year, which gives us a lot of hope moving forward, and we're committed to building on this progress. We're doing it by tearing down the stigma of asking for help and ensuring that there are treatment and recovery options in every single community. We have certified recovery-ready communities across the Commonwealth, representing more than 1.7 million Kentuckians who now have access to affordable and effective treatment options. And we have some good news to share today. This week, we have certified 6 more of our Kentucky counties as recovery-ready. Big shout out to these counties. It took a lot of work, but it means that there is help, effective help, and a whole lot of love in these communities for anybody who's willing to step forward and saying they need that help. The counties that have just been certified are Clay, Letcher, Owsley, Boyd, Carter, and Greenup. We will officially present these certificates next week, September 5th, at Recovery Month event on the Capitol lawn. Other steps we've taken to help fight addiction include launching a new searchable website to help people in recovery find housing, implementing the new easy-to-remember 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, launching the new Second Chance website, which connects Kentuckians overcoming addiction or leaving prison to job and education resources. We're also helping people access life-saving naloxone, which is used to reverse overdoses. We're doing more to keep dangerous drugs off the street. Just this year, the Kentucky State Police has seized more than $5.5 million worth of illicit drugs and made more than 3,000 drug-related arrests. And this year, KSP completed a successful Operation Summer Heat, targeting suspected drug networks that led to the seizure of more than 3,000 grams of fentanyl. We've also seen incredible work by the Kentucky Counter-Drug Task Force, a collaboration between KSP, local and federal law enforcement, and our National Guard. I want to thank all the recovery advocates across the state. Y'all are doing amazing work in your communities, providing a helping hand to your neighbors, giving people a second chance, and saving lives. We made a lot of progress, but we have a lot more work to do. One life lost is too many. That's somebody's son or daughter, that's somebody's parent, brother or sister, that's somebody's friend, that's somebody's loved one. Every life is precious, and we want to make sure that an epidemic that started in our lifetimes ends in our lifetime. We cannot leave this to our kids or to our grandkids. So this Sunday, August 31st, is Overdose Awareness Day. It's a time to remember those we've lost, to honor their families, and to stand with those that are seeking help, and to lift up those that are in recovery, that have faced one of the most challenging things that anyone could imagine, come out the other side, and are such a great testament to hope in this world. So today we have Tara Hyde with People Advocating Recovery. She is a leader in fighting addiction in our state and is a survivor herself. Tara, would you join us to say a few words?
Thank you so much, Governor Beshear. It's always a pleasure to be here, and it's always important to talk about this issue. On this Overdose Awareness Day, we pause to remember the 1,410 Kentuckians that lost their lives in 2024. Each was a loved one, a child, a parent, a friend, and their absence is felt deeply. Their memory calls us to action, ensuring that their lives are honored not only in grief, but in progress. And progress is happening. For the third year in a row, overdose deaths, as we just heard from the governor, have decreased and declined by 30.2%, the largest in a single year decrease that we have on record. The previous year, 2023, we saw a decrease by 9.8%. A powerful, powerful measure, right? As we continue to get more resources out into the hands of our community members. This movement is reflected in the strength of Kentucky's response to this effort. $29.7 million invested in recovery, treatment, prevention, and harm reduction. 170,000 kits of naloxone out into our community's hands, our neighbors' hands, our families' hands. Putting life-saving tools into the hands of all of us. 84 syringe exchange programs serving nearly 28,000 people and providing those direct services and getting them into the help, into the service support that they need. And many Kentuckians are accessing treatment through Medicaid, with thousands more being supported by Kentucky Opioid Response Effort. But we know that treatment alone is not enough. What sustains recovery is community. And I love that we always talk about the Kentucky Alliance for Recovery Residences that has been recently established. That is so important. Housing, stable, supportive housing is so important and critical for recovery. And so is programs like the Recovery Kentucky Housing Partnership. Peer support builds belonging and accountability, like through the recovery community centers that we have all across Kentucky in the 17 communities. Employment and family services restore dignity and hope, just like through the Fair Chance Academy that helps to train employers on how to support their staff or their employees who are in recovery. These community-based supports dramatically increase treatment success and to reduce disruptions in recovery. We see this in the 21, which I assume now is more than 21, recovery-ready communities, which I'm so glad to hear that there are now more communities that are going to be ready to help to support more individuals in recovery, because we know that recovery is everywhere. And we know that the more opportunities that we have to talk about it, to help elevate the message and help come together, that the more opportunities that we have for people to succeed. And that means that we're becoming a part of the prevention fabric, because then we create more opportunities to discuss why people feel the need to use a substance, or why that they are looking for something outside of themselves to feel better. And we can do that when we are having these deep conversations and coming together in our communities. The lesson is clear. Treatment saves lives, but community keeps people in recovery. And when we strengthen communities, outcomes improve, not only for individuals, but for families, our workforce, and Kentucky's future. So today we honor the lives we've lost, and let's also honor the resilience of those in recovery and recommit to building a Kentucky where every person has the opportunity to not just recover, but to also thrive. Today we choose hope, and I'm so glad to say that. On this Overdose Awareness Day, we remember, we act, and we move forward with unity, compassion, and hope, and we can do it together. So just remember to reach out to your local resources, your local community partners, and ask how you can get involved, because that's what we need. We need to come together as a community and partner and collaborate. And thank you so much again for letting me be here today. Again, Governor Beshear.
Thank you. Hang out up here for a minute, if you will. Thank you to Tara for all the work that she does. And she's right, there are now 27 recovery-ready communities across the state. We also, with us today, have our team from the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. If y'all want to come up while I'm sharing some good news. At the State Fair this month, they distributed 6,000 doses of Narcan and 5,000 fentanyl test strips to Kentuckians. Let's thank them for their great work. We also have Van Ingram, Executive Director for the Kentucky Office of Drug Policy, with us if you want to join us. If any of the rest of the team from People Advocating Recovery would also like to come up, I want to present all of these folks from the nonprofit to the government sector and to everybody else out there that is working to fight addiction, help people stay in recovery, remove drugs from our street. Today, for you, for all of us, to make sure we don't lose one other person and in honor of the far too many Kentuckians we have lost to this epidemic, we are recognizing Overdose Awareness Day, and I'm officially proclaiming August 31st, 2025 as Overdose Awareness Day in Kentucky. You're welcome. We all want to look forward. All right. Thank you all for your great work. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, all you got to do is ask for help. We have resources all around Kentucky. You will be met with love and not judgment. And remember, if you are asking for help, it doesn't matter if it's your first time or your 10th time or your 20th time. We support you. We want to be there for you, and we are proud of you for reaching out and asking for help. You can call the KY Help Call Center, which will connect you to treatment. That's the number on the screen, 833-8KY-HELP. That is 833-859-4357. We need you. We need you to make that call. We want to help you get better. We want to repair any damage done to your family. We want to make sure that you've got that great job and that you and the people around you can thrive. We want to make sure you're healthy. And again, no judgment, just love and acceptance and a whole lot of help that is right there waiting for you. All right, today we also have some news about violence against women grant applications that are open. Domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, and stalking are things that no one should ever have to go through. My administration's made it a priority to do everything possible to protect us from these horrific crimes and to support survivors. That's work I've made a priority since my time as Attorney General. That's why I signed legislation making sexual extortion a felony. And it's why we strengthen our laws to include other forms of abuse and the sexual exploitation of minors. We've now awarded more than $149 million in grants to fund victim services across Kentucky in the last 5.5 years. Today, I'm proud to announce that another $2 million in grant funding is now available through the Violence Against Women Act. The funding provides direct support to victims of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, and stalking. Applications are now open for organizations across Kentucky, including law enforcement, prosecutors, victim services, and state and local courts. Visit justice.ky.gov to apply before September 26. My administration is committed to doing everything we can to hold offenders accountable. Remember, if you harm someone, we will find you, we will arrest you, we will convict you, and we will incarcerate you. Now, violence against anyone is never acceptable. Violence against Kentucky women is far, far too high. It is not acceptable. And we are going to continue to push as hard as we can to hold anyone who would commit those crimes accountable, but also provide survivors with the resources they need to rebuild. So if your agency is eligible for this funding, thank you for what you do, and please apply. We're committed to continuing, just like we fought against this opioid epidemic, to fight for those inches that become the feet, that become the miles of progress, so that my daughter's growing up in a safer world, and everybody else's is too. If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, please reach out. There's no shame in asking for help. Here in Kentucky, you'll be met with hope and safety. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-SAFE. And now we're going to end like we always do, by naming our team Kentucky All-Stars. Today's is a tough one, but important to recognize. Yesterday, our country suffered yet another tragedy, and it's always hardest when it impacts the youngest among us. Deadly school shootings tear at the fabric of who we are as a society. This one in Minneapolis was a horrific and senseless act that took the lives of at least 2 children, injuring 17 others. I mean, we talk about everybody being a child of God. These are children. Every American child should be safe when they go to school. Every American child should feel safe when they go to school. And no parent should have to go through the pain and suffering of these parents. and so many like them have faced. As a dad, it's hard to comprehend. As a person who lost one of his best friends in these shootings, it's hard every time they happen. It's wrong that we live in a time where there is something, this is something that children and teachers and families and school staff have to face. But until there is more change, we must do everything in our power to protect our children, our schools, and everyone within them. In Kentucky, we're making progress to ensure that's the case. We just released a 2024-2025 annual school safety report. Now, 1,315 public schools in our Commonwealth are following the state-mandated security requirements. That is almost a 100% success rate. These security requirements include things like electronic locking front doors, surveillance, locked classroom doors, classroom window coverings, and a threat assessment team. I'm proud to report we also have 842 school resource officers guarding our schools every day. That's a 104% increase since my administration took office. These brave men and women are willing to run into danger to protect others, and I'm forever grateful to them. That's why this week we are naming everyone who show up every day to protect our kids. Those are the school resource officers, but also our teachers, school staff, everyone who is in our public schools. You are not just on our minds, our hearts, and in our prayers. You are our Team Kentucky All-Stars. As a dad of 2 kids that go to public school, thank you for what you do. I hope that this will be the last of these shootings. Sadly, I don't think it will be. So to everybody that's hurting, let us remember to keep raising our voices and standing up for the safety of our children and of our fellow Americans and all that school staff out there as your governor, but also as a parent. Thank you. All right, we'll be back next Thursday at a slightly different time. September 4th, the Team Kentucky Update will be at 1 p.m. With that, we'll turn it over to our journalists. We have 1 in studio and about 5 on the line. So we'll start with Carolina here from WLEX.
United Auto Workers is claiming victory in their vote down at Louisville. Do you support that unionization effort? What are your thoughts on that? And then following on that shooting, it wasn't just a shooting, a school shooting, but it was also a shooting in a place of worship.
Yeah.
We had a shooting in a church in Lexington earlier this summer. What actions would you like to see taken to protect places of worship that you Kentucky?
So we formed an anti-Semitism task force here in Kentucky after a lot of threats on our temples and our houses of worship. They made the decision to broaden what it was that they were tasked to do, and right now are working with our Department of Homeland Security, working with houses of worship all across the Commonwealth, talking about best practices, talking about different grants that are out there, talking about different things that we can do to better protect our churches. And I'm watching firsthand a lot of those being put into effect. We've got to understand in this world right now, anywhere that a lot of people congregate, we've got to be thinking about how to make it safer. And those include schools and houses of worship of any religion. We just want everyone to be safe. You know, the idea that you could be in danger in a church, in a school, is fundamentally un-American, but it is still the challenge that we face. And while I wish more would be done, I wish we'd pass a red flag law here in Kentucky. I mean, Florida has it. Why shouldn't we? We trust courts to determine someone's freedom and incarcerate them. If they've broken the law, we trust our courts to determine the custody of our kids. Surely we can entrust them, an institution that is designed to interpret the Constitution, to protect the Second Amendment while also stepping in and preventing murder when we know it's going to happen and law enforcement can stop it. But until we see some of those, we've got to look at the safety, typically the physical safety of all of these facilities and how we can take that next step and the step after. Blue Oval SK just had an election. I know that it's going to be challenged in the NLRB. I am a pro-union governor, and I think that the vote of the employees should be recognized. If it indeed ends up being a union facility, I think what the company is going to see is that union workers are some of the best workers. And the ability to attract even more workers will be a positive in the long term for Blue Oval. Okay, on the line, we got Tom Latek. Tom, welcome to the first Team Kentucky update in this new Commonwealth studio.
Okay, thank you, Governor, and good afternoon. Yesterday, during a legislative committee meeting, advocates of ibogaine were talking about efforts to remove that drug as a Schedule 1 because it can be helpful for recovery from drug addiction. Do you have any take on that, and do you support removing it from Schedule 1?
A lot more research needs to be done on ibogaine. It can also cause some really significant reactions in a number of people. You don't tread lightly into something that could be that powerful or could potentially be that damaging. So this is what the FDA is for. This is what they ought to be researching. Now, I previously opposed the last attorney general who wanted to use opioid settlement dollars to fund the private research of one private company. I don't think that that's how we ought to be using these dollars. A private company should use their own dollars to do their private research. We should be investing in groups like Terra's and others that are out there doing the hard work every day. And here's what I'd say. We had a 30% decrease in drug overdose deaths last year. Yes, we'll look at any new things that are coming on the market. We have a opioid-free new pain medication that has come on the market that's non-addictive. But we know that treatment works. We know that there are different types of treatment that work for people. We've got a system that works. So let's make sure that we're not just looking at the next bright, shiny object, but that we're recognizing the hard work with the structure we have in place has done so much to help our people. And let's keep doing that work. Olivia Evans, Courier-Journal.
Hi, Governor. Thank you for taking my question. Have you, as a pro-union governor who's previously encouraged neutrality from Blue Oval SK in Facebook posts, have you considered or taken into consideration the company's spending on union avoidance consultants? And additionally, what do you make of the razor-thin margin in the election?
Well, I'm still waiting on that information. All I've done is read a couple stories now. Those are conversations that I'd want to have directly with the company, which is a very important employer in the Commonwealth, as well as the union. The UAW has some great leadership, is an incredible organization that helped build the middle class across America and is very important to Kentucky. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS.
Thank you, Governor. I was curious, would you support an effort to redistrict Kentucky's congressional maps?
Kentucky's electoral maps are gerrymandered about as much as I think is humanly possible. Think about this. The same congressman represents a county on the Mississippi River and where I'm standing in Frankfort right now. I mean, that ain't right. And the reasons there might not even be political, which is also incredibly concerning. Listen, if our General Assembly gets in on what's going on around the country and tries to take one district, which is pretty Democratic, and split it into others, they could go from having one Democratic congressman to two. A lot of times these things backfire, and I'm not sure any of our current sitting Republican congressmen want even more strong Democratic voters in their districts. So, I mean, we're 5-1. What else are they going to do with the maps? They may think that they can do something, but I don't think it's going to work out for them. And remember, this is a budget session, and redistricting takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and that would eat up a large part of the session where we're going to have less revenue than we've had in sessions in the past. And there are going to be harder decisions than the last couple budget sessions we've had. That's probably where the focus needs to be for all of us. Karen Czar, WUKY.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Governor. Governor, you just mentioned that we are almost at 100% compliant on safety measures at schools. Why are we at that 100% yet, and what is it going to take to get there? Thank you.
But we're getting close, and these measures, a lot of technology, a lot of it can be even expensive changes to schools. Karen, if you think about some of our schools that are really old, and so to create that, one entrance, one exit in the school, to have the electronic locking doors in some schools that may be 100 years old is just challenging. So I think all schools are working through their budgets, working to get there. I see efforts being made all across the Commonwealth, and I believe that we will hit 100%. Certainly, every superintendent out there is hurting today, and is and ought to be looking at their procedures to say, what more can we do? What training have we done? Just like I say in natural disasters, in every one of these, I hope that we do that the follow-up where we ask every question, not so we can lay blame at anything, but so that hopefully we can learn something to take one more step that next time, meaning our kids are that much better protected the next time. All right, our last question, Ian Hardwitt from WHAS.
Hi, Governor. Do you support Republican efforts to return driver's licensing to the circuit clerks, or do you feel that KYTC is equipped to handle complaints?
So 5 years ago, the clerks came to the General Assembly and said, we don't want to do it anymore. They said, we don't want to institute the Real ID, and the Real ID is so expensive to institute that you can't do it without having driver's licensing. So this administration and KYTC never asked to have it, but that was thrust upon us by the General Assembly by law. And we said, okay. So we have built out the system that other states would call DMVs. We don't call ours that, from scratch. We've created regional centers. We've had to staff them up. Again, something that the Transportation Cabinet has never done. And so first you're building something out of nothing. Then new laws come in that add a significant burden to what the clerks used to have. The vision screenings have increased in-person appointments dramatically, absolutely dramatically. I mean, the numbers before and now are significant, which we've worked to adjust. We're hiring more people. For a while, we had temps that has not worked out. We need long-term, better paid individuals in these facilities. Then we added Real ID, which it finally became a thing. I understand that a lot of Kentuckians didn't get a Real ID because it kept getting pushed back, but it's not being pushed back anymore. And so that is an extra burden, like vision screening, that didn't exist for the clerks. Then we passed a law that took place immediately, that 15-year-olds could apply for their permits, adding tens of thousands of additional people coming in. I am not satisfied with the operations of our centers, but they have been asked to do not just the task that used to be done decades by the clerks, in the last 5 years building out, but have had significant additional things put on top. My commitment is to make it work. I mean, if we send it back to the clerks now, you'd have to rebuild from scratch there, and it might be another 5 years of challenges. So I don't criticize any lawmaker that's looking towards that. I get that they're looking for a solution. I get that everybody wants one of these in their communities, and I hate to wait in line for anything. And I know the lines are really big here. So I hope they know, and the people of Kentucky know, we are not satisfied with the current operations. We are going to continue to try to find ways to make it more effective, and the legislature can and should call our folks in and ask them the questions. Do try to understand the challenges that are there. This session, maybe we ought to provide more funding to this area, but let's look for solutions to where our people can have a better experience when they're in there. All right, so first press conference, Team Kentucky update in this new Commonwealth studio. I'll end like I started, saying I know Virginia Moore and Michael Brown are looking down over us. We miss them, but for them and for everybody else, for everybody that we've recognized on Overdose Awareness Day, thinking about our kids and all of our schools, we'll continue to do the good work to make our state safer, to make our families more successful. Each and every Kentuckian is special. You deserve a good life. You deserve a life where you can give your kids more opportunity. That's what we try to do in this room and every other room around state government. But we will continue to do good things, to be kind to each other, And that's in honor of absolutely everybody out there. Thank you all very much. Thank you all.